All right, we are just barely getting started. Guys, it's a weird morning. It's a weird morning for us. We're going live a little bit earlier than normal. I know, kind of weird, but we're doing this just because I had a little bit of a off morning, and I have a bunch of meetings coming up this afternoon, and I just gotta kind of move forward. So we're gonna go live, and I need a village, and this is it. So. How's everyone doing? Did everyone have a good night? Hopefully y'all had a better night than I had. If you didn't see my... Yeah, Jesse, I'll bring people up probably today. Especially if people have questions. I don't know that we'll do much of hanging out. Maybe at the end I kind of reserve the last 15 minutes if people want to hang out. But if people have questions, I'll probably bring people up. Go ahead and be tapping the screen, everybody. Let me tell you all about my night, okay? I'll probably share this a couple times during the live. You can learn a lot from it. You can learn a lot from my mistakes, you guys. But last night, my wife was at an appointment. She was out of the house, and I was watching all 4 of our kids. And I went in and found my 20-month-old who was diagnosed with autism. And she had found a container of Tylenol, and this was last night, everybody, and she dumped it all over. I walked in and saw her covered in the Tylenol, and I immediately reached in her mouth and didn't feel anything. And here's the thing, though, is my daughter, she has autism, and she tends to eat a lot of things. So we like cat food. We had to move the cat food outside, and she just tends to put things in her mouth. And I immediately called poison control, and poison control told me that I needed to wait 4 hours. This was at 8 o'clock last night, and they said I had to wait 4 hours and then take her into the ER to get her tested to see if she had consumed dangerous levels of Tylenol. And so I put her to bed and brought her in at around midnight, and it took a couple hours of being in there, but we found out that she had only consumed small amounts of Tylenol. She definitely got some in her system, but it wasn't a dangerous amount. And fortunately didn't need any treatment, but made it so I only got a few hours of sleep last night, not very many. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I feel guilty. Honestly, like, this is a vulnerable moment for me. I feel embarrassed. The hour that my wife left the house and this happened on my watch, you know what I mean? But we did everything we could. And we're here now. And so usually I go live every day, everybody. Usually it's a little bit later. I'm going early, a little bit earlier this morning. But let's talk autism, everybody. I've seen a lot of good questions come through. Let's talk about it. Amazing. Yes, I see you. You're in the Philippines. Sav says, I have 3 kids who are autistic and nonverbal. Everyone says it's my fault. I'm doing my best. Guys, I made a video kind of about this yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I saw a video where people were talking about how there's this new diagnosis called virtual autism, and it's caused by too much screen time. And it's not trying to claim that screen time actually causes autism. However, it blurs that line. And Morgan, thank you. That means the world. The important thing that I want everyone to know is that you did not cause your child's autism. Screen time does not cause autism. So yeah, that's important to know. You did not cause your child's autism. Sorry guys, I'm a little thrown off today, but I'm going to we're gonna get through this, and I appreciate everybody's support today. Let's see. How do I know if I have autism? Alex, that word used to be a clinical word. It's removed and now is called an intellectual disability, Alex. just for your information, you have to go and meet with a psychologist. They can help deliver a diagnosis. Yeah, because being too online makes you awkward in real life, lack social skills, control orderly issues. Yeah, there's definitely impacts of too much screen time for little kids. But it's when it's excessive and it's when they're watching screens alone. There's actually some research that shows that when a parent is watching educational shows with a toddler, with a child, it can actually increase learning. Yeah. Says it's Tylenol, not vaccines. Absolutely not. It's not Tylenol. I know that was shared a few months ago in the United States by some politicians, but they cited one study from Harvard, and what they failed to do is look at the meta-analyses that factored out the confounding variables in the study, in the Harvard study. And so that weak correlation that existed with Tylenol does not even show up when you rule out for some confounding factors. So, yeah, that's a... Let's see. Yeah, we got some trolls pretty early on this morning. We got some trolls pretty early this morning. Someone said their child with vaccination has autism. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. I'm a woman and think that I have autism. What should I look out for? That's a really good question. Okay, so a lot of people have autism and are undiagnosed. Why did this happen? Why are there so many people getting diagnosed with autism today? Is it just a trend? Is it something people want to, be a part of and be cool on social media? I think largely no. That is not what's happening. What's happening is people are reflecting back on their life. They see their kids and they see themselves in their kids, or they see themselves in the people with autism, and they realize, you know what? Maybe I wasn't just awkward. Maybe I wasn't just struggling in school. Maybe I wasn't just struggling to communicate my feelings. Maybe there's an explanation here. And so adults can absolutely go and get an autism evaluation. Let's see. Heather says, does autism come from heritage or DNA? A female friend of mine told me females can mask theirs better. Heather, that's a really good question. So you have a couple questions here. The first is, yes, it is largely genetic. They have identified hundreds of genes that factor into how the brain develops regarding autism. And just remember, autism is the way your brain developed in utero, prenatally and perinatally, and not something you catch after the fact. But you're absolutely right that girls, that children who are girls tend to mask their symptoms earlier, making autism more difficult to diagnose. JC says, are people with autism commonly labeled as narcissists? Yes, I have seen that. I don't have data on it, though, so I can't speak too much on it. I don't have a whole lot. Michelle says, any chat rooms for 20-somethings to meet with high-functioning autism? Oh, my goodness, what a good idea. Man, someone's got to make that. Man, are we going to create a Space to Thrive dating website now? I mean, we might have to do that for it. Maybe that's for parents with children with autism, or it's people with autism themselves. How come there are some kids that outgrow autism? User, that's a good question. I do know people. I personally know people that they meet the qualifications for autism as a child, and then 5 years later, after they go through rigorous therapies and they've grown, they have a lot of team members involved. They go and they get reassessed, and they no longer meet the diagnostic requirements for autism. Part of that is because we diagnose autism based on behavior that we see. And a lot of times there can be a few things that happen. People have learned skills to where a lot of the required symptoms of autism are no longer impacting that person's life. I would not say, however, even though they may no longer be able to get a medical diagnosis of autism, autism is lifelong. It's how the brain functions. It's their paradigm of their world. And even though they may be masking more or able to cope in different situations and they've learned skills, it doesn't discount, what they've been through in their life. Some people, Hysteria says, my symptoms have gotten worse over time, though. Yeah. Let's see. B says, what's something parents can do to help their kids that are not talked about? Oh, man. I can't see the rest of that question. But I think you're asking, are there things not talked about often that can help people with autism? Let's talk about this. Not talked about enough. Very good, very good. Okay, guys, listen to this. This is what us autism parents are always trying to do. If you have an autistic child, what we often try to do is try to identify what is everything that we can do to help our child. That is such a good question. And I want to start this by saying I think parents of children with autism quite often do too much. I think that they get into the weeds of things that are not evidence-based, that are expensive, that cost your time and effort, and then they burn out. And so I am going to say one of the best things that's not talked about enough to make sure that you are taking care of your child is taking care of yourself. Take care of yourself. You need a village. You need to be able to go on, a date night. If you're an autism parent, when was the last time you went on a date night? Has it been a while? Whether you're single, whether you're married, I mean, date nights seem to disappear. But you absolutely, I think that is like, so having a kid with autism, this is a lifelong thing that you're going through. It's a lifelong relationship with your child, and you instead of focusing on that new diet or that new stem cell therapy or something that there's minimal evidence for, save your money, save your effort, and take care of yourself. Okay, everybody, let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Kylan Heiner. I live in Utah. I am a father of a 3.5-year-old child with autism. I'm also the father of a 1.5-year-old child with autism. And I have 4 kids overall, and it's my youngest 2 that are diagnosed with autism. My daughter, my youngest, was just barely diagnosed last week. I am a board-certified behavior analyst, so I've worked with people with autism since 2013. And I am currently the CEO of a company that provides autism services throughout the state of Utah. And so I am not a doctor. There's a lot of things I don't know, and I'm okay to say I don't know, but there's also a lot that I've learned over the years and a lot that I've learned since I've been doing these lives. And I love to share that. But more than anything, what this is about is I need a village, you guys. And you all are part of my village, and I hope I can be part of yours. Speaking of that, I saw Amy in the chat talking about the Discord. We do have a Discord. If you need a village, we have a Discord. We also have something new, Amy, as of last night, and you might not know about this yet. We have something new. We have had thousands of people try to join our Discord, and there have been a lot of hiccups with it. It's a good-sized Discord. Please join it and be a part of it. But we also started a Facebook group, just barely. Amy, you're not saying my bad about talking about Discord, right? You got to join the Discord. That was a great thing to bring up. But we just barely started a Facebook group. Hit the link in my bio. I think there's like 4 of us in there. Okay, this is brand new. This is the first time I've ever talked about this. And if you're on Facebook, and if you want a supportive group where it's positive only, and we can only, we're prioritizing evidence-based strategies, but it's honestly just a place that we can go and we can be open with each other. We can be honest. Please, consider joining. We have 6 members now, Lexi. Oh, that's great. Join the Facebook. All right. I think I missed some that people pinned. Thank you for pinning it, moderators. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the Discord and the Facebook gives us two places that we can kind of group together. Some people hate Facebook, some people hate Discord, and both spaces are important. So Rosh says, I love having autism. You know what? Thank you, Rosh, for bringing this up. We talk about the challenges of having a child with autism all the time. That's a big part of this channel because there are very real challenges. I'll talk more about those today. But I wouldn't change my kid. Autism is beautiful. My son is beautiful. My daughter is beautiful. And they have autism. And they have some really big challenges. But they are beautiful. Let me talk about one of the challenges, guys. I was up all night. I have my caffeine here. But I was up most of the night last night because my daughter, who has more pica tendencies, she'll, we had to move the cat food outside because she eats it, and she just puts everything in her mouth and doesn't communicate well. She has autism. Last night I found her during the hour that my wife left, and I was in charge of all four of our kids at that time. And I'm not proud of this, but I went into the other room. She had been alone for probably 5 minutes and had grabbed a container of Tylenol that the lid was slightly ajar, and dumped it out. And I walked in. It was all over her. Lexi, thank you. Thank you. It's hard not to blame myself. I feel really guilty for it. I'm very grateful, though. I called poison control immediately. The very first thing I did, is I saw her. She was covered. In the pills. This is a Costco-sized container, you guys. I mean, this wasn't just a couple pills. It was Costco-sized container all over her. And I jumped in there. I immediately stuffed my finger in her mouth, and I felt everywhere to make sure there wasn't anything in there. There was nothing in there. I got her out, and I called poison control immediately, okay? That was my very first thought. Call poison control. Called poison control, and I didn't realize this. When you call poison control, it's a pharmacist. Did you know that? It's a pharmacist on the other line, and pharmacists know more about medications than anyone on the planet. And so I explained exactly what happened, and the pharmacist was so reassuring and was like, look, don't panic. Here's what you're going to do, and walked me through everything. He's like, look, it's 8:00. It's about bedtime. Go put your daughter to bed. If you go to the ER right now, they can't do anything for 4 more hours. Put your daughter to bed. Go get your kid to the ER at midnight. And so that's what I did. I took her in. They did blood tests. They found that she had Tylenol in her system, but it wasn't dangerous enough amounts to damage her liver. I am so grateful. I tried to do everything right, but you guys, this journey's hard. This journey is hard, and it. I have 4 kids. I've never had to do this. I've never had a kid just eat stuff that they shouldn't eat that tastes disgusting. I mean, this doesn't happen, and Anyway. I'm grateful she's okay. But it did make it so I, got home, got to sleep probably around 3 a.m. last night, and was up at 7 to get my other kids off to school. So I'm a little bit out of it today. I may be a little more angry and less patient with people who I disagree with. We'll see. I don't know. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the support. Yes, journey is hard, but I can see your strength. Thank you, Noble Path. I appreciate it. If there's just one thing in the room full of stuff that can cause harm, they will find it. Oh my gosh, I feel that. I feel that so much. Okay. I only keep 1 dose out at a time. The rest stays in a lockbox. Yeah, that's smart. Is it possible if first child is normal, what are chances second one could have autism? Okay, that's a good question. I don't know of any data that indicates if your first child is neurotypical, that it improves or lessens the chances of your next child having autism. I know of no data to support that. What I do know is that that your if you have one child with autism, your next one does have a higher chance of having autism. Yeah, you do see that. Guys, thank you. I guess the thing you can learn from me, you're seeing all the right things in the comments of keeping medications locked up. And, we keep our medications high up away from the kids and usually sealed tight and with, kids safety containers. And it just happened, And I think the important thing, there's two things we can learn. One is keep your medication safe. And second, if this ever happens to you, call poison control. Remember to call poison control, and they'll guide you through. They'll walk you through. All right, guys. All right, Luke says, so if you have a kid with autism, would you call yourself a special needs parent? Yeah. Kids with autism have special needs. They do need support, and I have two kids with autism, and my 3.5-year-old, he has an IEP at school. He gets picked up every day by a school bus, and he has a one-on-one aide, and he struggles to communicate. So absolutely. Destiny says, have you ever heard of a doula for autism families, like a coach? I have not. I'd love to hear about what that's like and what that would be. Maybe that's my next career path. Would I be a good doula? I could be a doula for autism. Oh, Jenny. Yes, good reminder, Jenny. Also, don't buy anything with button batteries. Oh man, you're gonna make me. That's even more scary. That is terrifying. I mean, oh my gosh, yes. Marielle says I had a nightmare IEP. The principal was so mean and talked about my son so poorly. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Sixella says, how do you go about trying to figure out if you have autism? Okay, so there are tests you can take if you're trying to figure out for your child. And they're young, you can take the MCHAT, MCHAT for those wondering. Doctors actually have to do this at 18 months and 24-month checkups. The pediatricians do this. If you're looking for yourself, I actually don't know what the best standardized tool is. I'll try to figure that out for next time. Lexi says, I just had a parent-teacher conference last week and was heartbroken. I hate schools. Ugh. Yeah, I'm with you. Guys, we're already at 5,000 likes, everybody. We're just 20 minutes into this live. We got another hour and a half or more today. Get comfortable, guys, and keep on tapping the screen. Let's get those likes up. If you're new here, hit me a follow. I go live every day for a couple hours. I am your village. You are my village. And we are each other's village. When I talk about the autism journey, whether you have autism or you're an autism parent, there's 5 parts of this autism journey I like to discuss. Okay? There's 5 parts of this journey I like to discuss. For those that have been here, who remembers, what's the first part of this journey? What's the first part that I always talk about that we need very first? What is the very first part of this autism journey? Who remembers? Put it in the chat if you remember. I talk about this all the time. The very first thing that I recommend that we need to do if your child has autism, even before a diagnosis, is, there we go. I see it in the chat by a few people. You need a village. You need a village, you guys. Even before you get a diagnosis, you need that village. And some of us, we got to make that village. And so that could be neighbors. It could be family. It could be people online here that can support each other. You need a village because this is a lot. This is a lot, and you're not meant to do this alone. If you don't have a village, Ash, you make a village. You build a village. That's easier said than done. But you go bring cookies to your neighbors. You go invite them over for dinner. You go join a Facebook group for a local autism group, and you're able to do meetups and stuff. I mean, create a village. Put yourself out there. I have about 15 neighbors that I could call and any one of them would be over at my house in a heartbeat to support my kids while I have to go deal with an emergency. And how does that happen? Well, it's because I have been their village. I go and I support them, and I don't have time and effort to do that, but where I can, I do. And it takes effort. It's intent, but you got to build your village. The second part of this journey is get your clarity, get your diagnosis. I saw that in the chat there. Go get a diagnosis. You need clarity to know what's going on with your kid. The third step is probably the one that is what we all tend to jump to. We go out of order, and you think your kid has autism, and you jump to number 3. But it's an important step, okay? That's building your care team. You have now been promoted to be the manager of a care team, and there's typically 4 therapies that are frontline therapies for kids with autism. That includes applied behavior analysis therapy, ABA therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and mental health therapy. You get your kids signed up in the ones that they need, and you manage those care teams. You get the best people to help you with your child. You don't need to be the experts. You don't need to know everything. You need to find the best people, the best experts, and bring them into your children's life. The fourth part of this journey is go and learn everything that you can yourself, but only do that once you have those first 3 things in place. This is when you go and you look at, are there vitamins? Are there diets that are good for my kid? Are there, are there strategies I can learn to be a better parent? All of that takes place here in step 4. Can I advocate for the rights of my child? And then the 5th and final part of this autism journey is planning for your child's future, applying for long-term disability services, even if you don't know if your child needs it. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the people pinning these comments. Like, share, get this to the For You page. I'm curious, how many of you guys are coming in for the first time from the For You page? Put FYP in the chat. If you are just barely finding me for the first time today, put FYP in the chat. I'm curious, how many of you are just finding me today? Awesome. Yes, thank you guys for coming in. That's a lot of people. Okay, thank you for coming in. I do this every day. I go live every day. I'm fairly new to it. I'm about 6 weeks in, but it is something that I have found a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, and a lot of support. So I appreciate you guys being here. Also, something that I haven't talked about very much, I mentioned one time so far, is that just yesterday, last night, I started a Facebook group. We've had a Discord, and we've had thousands of people trying to join the Discord, but issues of the link and it working for some but not everyone. And so Discord is still active. If you like Discord, join the Discord, but also join the Facebook group. And this is a Positive Vibes only. I only go live for 2 hours. We need support longer than 2 hours. So let us be part of your village. Join the Facebook group. Join the Discord. All right, let's keep looking back at some questions here. Angel says, 15 members on Facebook. That's great. Guys, we already have 15 people on there. And I think we can get up a little bit more. If you want to be part of that Facebook group, also invite, if you have autism friends on Facebook, you can send invites to them to join the group. Send invites to your friends that are also autism parents. We can make it a very supportive group online that isn't full of misinformation. It's also not going to allow any spamming. We're not going to get. I'm part of some Facebook groups for autism, and the moment someone talks about their child and any challenges, it's flooded with people advertising their ABA companies. Have you seen that? Have you seen that before in those Facebook groups that, the moment that someone, it's just marketing. It's just all these businesses and people disguised as businesses go in and just say, "Oh, come do ABA with us. We're the best. No, we're the best." And they get bots in there to promote their group. We're not doing that. That's not what this is for. This is not trying to find specific services. This is overall support. There's no marketing in there. This is just people trying to figure things out. Destiny says, how do you feel about the puzzle piece? You know what? I'm not mad at people that use it. I don't personally use the puzzle piece. I personally believe that it's, I don't like the implication of autism being, a piece that is missing that we have to connect and find the pieces. Not my favorite, but I'm not hard offended by it, and I understand people love it. It's a little bit overused, but yeah, that's my thought. Okay. What are some of the early signs from 12 to 18 months? Shay, what a good question. Do you have a child, Shay? Do you have a child that's a baby, 12 to 18 months? What are some of the earliest signs you guys saw in your children? Shay says yes, almost a year. Okay, Shay, can I let's see. Let me find Shay. Shay, if you want to come up, I want to talk to you. You don't have to, even if this is your first time. I bring people up all the time, and it's just a basic conversation. I'd love to chat about earliest signs of autism. If you don't want to, that's okay too. We can do it without you coming up. But since you're a mom, I'd love to talk to you about it and give you some input. But here's some of the look at the chat. People are putting in the earliest signs that they notice with their kid: hand flapping, rocking, lack of communication, no eye contact, no reaction to their name. What I recommend, even at 12 months, is go and do the MChat. Just put it, Google MCHAT autism, and it will bring up, it's 20 questions, I believe, and it is a screener that catches 95% of cases of autism. And so it'll mark your level of risk. So what's PDA? That's a good question. PDA, if you guys have heard of PDA before, PDA is pathological demand avoidance. PDA is a profile of autism. And so PDA is not a diagnosis recognized in the United States. However, it is recognized in the UK. PDA, what it looks like is typically it's with the more communicative kids or people with autism. So a lot of times it's associated with level 1, and it's a profile under autism where simple demands or authority, when a person is not in full control, they don't have full autonomy, and they're told what to do, their body goes into fight or flight. We're talking that you telling them go clean your room has the same reaction as you putting their hand on a hot stove. This isn't just like people being rebellious. This isn't just like people misbehaving. This is like true nervous system overreacting to demands. And we do see a lot of kids with autism that have that experience this. All right, everybody. All right. That's pathological demand avoidance. How do they test for autism? That's a good question. Okay, guys, they do tests for autism at 18 months and at 24 months. They do screenings with your pediatrician. Every pediatrician that follows best practice, which is 99% of pediatricians, they do the MChat at 18 months and 24 months to screen autism. That is the first step most people have, is that they get screened with their pediatrician. Their pediatrician then refers them to go and get evaluated. Now, keep in mind, usually the pediatrician refers you to one or two of the same organizations. They send referrals out. If you most of the time, those companies that they refer you out to have the longest wait times. And so do not accept any wait list longer than 6 months. Okay? Let me say that again. And maybe if that's your only option, get on that wait list, but don't accept it. You keep looking, you keep fighting. You drive 5 hours to go get your kid assessed over waiting over 6 months to get evaluated. Okay? You have to move quickly. This is why we get screened at 18 months and 24 months. It's because the earlier you detect it, the earlier that you get assessed and evaluated, the earlier you're able to start earlier intervention. And the data is so clear. You start ABA therapy, you start OT, you start speech early on and do this early intervention, you have such a strong likelihood of catching up and hitting those milestones and getting the support you need from early on. Okay, I'm seeing a question. Do you think people are born with autism? Or do genetic issues cause developmental, I'm guessing, problems down the road? Okay, this is a very good question. Okay, are people born with autism? Yes, yes. It is not a disease that people catch later on in life. That is a very common misconception about autism. People notice autism usually around 18 months is when a lot of families start seeing signs, sometimes earlier. Yes, okay. The problem with that is it treats, okay, so some people, they see it at 18 months, at 24 months, and they say, okay, autism must be caught. It must be a disease. It must be a toxin. It must be from vaccines because it happens later on. But what you don't know is that they are born with this, and that's just when you start seeing a split between development between neurotypical people and neurodivergent people. And that is when you start seeing that split. And so, yes, you are born with it. It is how your brain developed in utero, prenatally. Okay. Okay. Josie says GLP and speech is my only concern. So that's the Gestalt language processing. And speech is my only concern. Sleeps well, eats more variety of food, no behavior issues. So I don't know if you have a diagnosis of autism, if your child does, but there are other things besides eating and behavior issues and sleeping. So some of the other things that you're going to look at to get a diagnosis of autism are repetitive behaviors like stereotypy, flapping the hands, spinning, rocking, things like that. A little bit about me so that people know. I try to say this a little bit just so people are aware of my background, of what I do know, what I am an expert on, and what I'm not. So I'm not a doctor. However, I am a parent. I have a 3.5-year-old with autism. I have a 1.5-year-old with autism. So my two youngest kids have autism. And I have 13 years of working with people with autism. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. I actually developed the training tool that about 80% of board-certified behavior analysts use when they are preparing to take their board exam. So I'm the founder of ABA Wizard, if we have any BCBAs in here. That was about 8 years ago. And most recently, I am the CEO of a company that provides autism services in Utah. And so the past 13 years, autism has been my life. I also have a master's degree in autism studies with an emphasis in applied behavior analysis. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm a fierce advocate for autism. You see a lot of videos of me going and talking to legislators. I'm meeting with a lobbyist tomorrow to talk through some things, more advocacy. Anyway, that's a little bit about me. If you are interested in being part of this community, just hit me a follow. I go live every day. And this is more of me needing a village, you guys. I never thought I'd be on the parent side of this. I don't know if you guys thought that you would be, but I never thought that I would be a parent of an autistic kid. I never did. And I've learned more from being a parent of a child with autism than I did in my master's degree about autism. Can you explain ABA therapy? There's so many different opinions about ABA. Leanne, what a good question. What a good question, Leanne. ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis. Now, there are 4 frontline therapies that I recommend people with autism get when they're first diagnosed, especially kids with early intervention. 4 options to prioritize. And the first one that I do recommend is ABA therapy. The reason I recommend that is I also recommend speech therapy, occupational therapy, mental health therapy. Mental health therapy is more for those that are older and are communicative, can have conversations. But speech and OT, typically it's 1 hour a week of supports that you can get. ABA therapy is up to 40 hours per week of therapy. Let me be clear that speech has extreme expertise in communication. I would love my kid to have 40 hours a week with a speech therapist, but no insurance is going to pay for that. I would love for 40 hours a week of occupational therapy because they specialize in sensory needs. My kids do have sensory needs. But insurance oftentimes only pays 20 appointments per year of these services. But we do know that ABA therapy, it's a lot more. And the way that, or the reason it is because of the model. They're not paying for a master's level person 40 hours a week. The model of ABA is that you have this trained professional that is trained to work broadly on skill development. This includes, communication and safety skills and reducing problem behaviors and, all domains of a child's life. You have these trained experts, but they're not the ones directly working with your kid. They supervise these, 18-year-olds who bill insurance a lot less. It's a lot cheaper for insurance, and that's why we can get 40 hours a week of they're supervised by these trained professionals, but it's they're implementing the plan that this master's degree trained professional writes. So I love ABA therapy. Some of the downsides, old school ABA, they focused a lot on compliance and a lot on masking. And you have some very valid experiences of adults now that are like 15 years ago, I got ABA and it was torture. It was miserable. I felt like they were just trying to control me. I felt like I couldn't be myself. And that's a very valid feeling to have. Yeah, Happy TikToker says, I don't believe in ABA as someone living with autism. Yeah, if you have a history of having ABA, and especially how it was 10 to 15 years ago of focusing on compliance, over-compliance, and masking, that was traumatic. ABA today is very neuroaffirming. I proudly have my kids in ABA. They beg to go. My son, my 3.5-year-old, it's his favorite part of the day. I mean, he loves going to ABA therapy. Let's see. To clarify as well, I am not diagnosed with autism. I just have a background and passion for autism. I'm a parent of children with autism. So yeah, just wanting to clarify. But Stakuris, that's actually a good question asked about people with autism and intercourse. And absolutely, I mean, there's a lot of people that grow up and they have meaningful relationships with people, and it's something even in ABA. We have ABA in for teens and adults, and the company that I'm the CEO of, and we address dating skills and relationship skills and things like that. So that's an important part of life. Poppy Seed says, as a school-based SLP, I still see a wide variety of ABA providers who utilize a compliance approach. Poppy Seed, that's so frustrating, huh? I really don't like that. Some red flags for an ABA provider, okay? If I heard someone tell me the other day that their ABA provider said that they were teaching the kid that they can't say no to adults. And I'm like, that is the exact opposite of what ABA should be teaching a kid. I mean, advocacy, self-advocacy, that's such an important skill. Kids with autism, they need to be able to say no to adults. They need to be able to say how they feel. And so, yeah, this over-focus on compliance, that can be dangerous. So definitely, make sure that your ABA provider is teaching things that are not just compliance-based, but it's developmentally appropriate. It's, if your kid's 2, no 2-year-old can sit at a table for 6 hours a day. So, yeah, look out for some of those red flags. All right, what other questions do we have? Moderators, feel free to be pinning questions if you have them. What do you recommend for my son for better communication and understanding at 15? That is a good question. Okay, it really depends where your child is now. If your child has no verbal ability and is age 15, I would recommend considering, I don't know if you've worked on sign or AAC devices, but really that's going to be a good question to speak specifically, since it's a specific need for your child. That's why we need a good care team. Shay, I can bring you up in a little bit here. If you're in the guest box, I'll bring you up here in a minute. Okay, able to speak fluently. Oh, perfect. Okay. Yes. Can I be my kid's ABA therapist? So the quick answer is not really. Not in the practical sense. Like, you can't get paid to do ABA with your kid. The board that oversees ABA therapy is called the Behavior Analyst Certification Board. They have a code of ethics, and they require that you don't have a dual relationship. And so you cannot be your own child's behavior analyst or RBT. Now, as part of ABA therapy, that most good ABA providers require, and many insurance companies require, is that the parents are actively participating in parent training. And what that will do is that makes it so that you can learn how to do ABA with your own child when they're not in ABA. It helps with generalizing those skills. Destiny also brings up, kids don't respond to therapy from mom like they do with outside therapists. Yeah, absolutely. I also want to say, Destiny, that people don't respond to, or the moms don't respond to their kids the same way that a neutral party RBT would respond to their kids. As a BCBA myself, ABA doesn't work when I do it with my kids. And I say that jokingly because I'm emotionally invested. I mean, I can't think of it in the same way that I can look at a different parent and their child doing things. And so I still participate in parent training. I have a BCBA, even though that BCBA that trains me used my app to learn many of their BCBA skills to prepare for the exam. I still go and I get trained by that BCBA on how to work with my own child. And so please be open to the parent training. Very important to do. Where can I receive parent training? Okay, so if you're in ABA therapy, talk to your BCBA about it. That's where you need to do the parent training is through the BCBA. There's actually a service code that they can bill your insurance, and it's just part of their service package that they provide to you. And that way they can, it's important to, I like keeping services all in one house as much as possible. Like, you're getting trained by the same person that's working with your kid, and so they know what to train you on to best support your child with their current needs. Okay. Oh my goodness. Melissa says, my 15-year-old has decided to go to school to become a BCBA. Any advice for her? Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Best, such a good career choice. I mean, there's such a need for BCBAs out there that if you have any interest, it's challenging. I mean, you have to be able to pass an exam that only 50 to 60% of people can pass on the first try. You have to, I mean, it's very challenging. It's not for everybody, but so exciting. Shelby says, my nephew is high functioning but having extreme hygiene problems. Do I have any advice? Yeah, I got advice. What age are we talking, Shelby? Shelby, what age are we talking? Do you have any more info for us? Lex says, are you okay? I'm okay. Do I not look okay? Or maybe you're asking because you saw my video. For those of you that don't know, I was in the ER all night. I shared this about half hour ago. But my daughter, she's okay. She got into a bottle of Tylenol. My wife made a joke that she this is gonna be bad, guys. Just know Tylenol does not cause autism, but my wife is like, hey, she heard that she was only level 2 autistic and was feeling like she did much better on that exam and needed to go for level 3, so she found the Tylenol container. But no, all jokes aside, she's okay. We went in, okay, so 8 p.m. Yeah, jokes are okay. We can joke, you guys, as long as people don't take it seriously. Yeah, Brooklyn's funny. So around 8 p.m., I'll share this story again real quick. Around 8 p.m., I walked in and found my daughter. She had dumped out a Costco-sized pill bottle of Tylenol, and it was all over her. And I jumped into action immediately and put my finger in her mouth, and she didn't have any pills, and I had to call poison control, and they advised me to wait 4 hours and take her into the ER, and I did. And they did blood tests, which was miserable. I don't know if you've ever had to hold down a little toddler, but they did the blood tests, and we were just kind of up all night, and found that she had consumed Tylenol, but it wasn't quite at the level where they needed to treat, and so she's okay. She's okay. Just a scary situation. The doctor said you absolutely have to do that because if it is an overdose of Tylenol, liver can fail quicker than she can get on the transplant list. And so that's one of those things. Oh, Brooklyn, is she sleeping in? Oh, good. I'm so glad she's sleeping in. Guys, Haunted Brooklyn's my wife on here. So my baby's sleeping in this morning. I'm glad. She needs to sleep in. Like says my adult autistic brother did that. Yeah, so scary. Did you have any other kids after your daughter? No, my daughter's our last kid, but we did. So I have 4 kids. I'll tell you guys this. I have 4 kids. My son is 3.5, and he was the one that was diagnosed with autism, before he was at the age of 2. And we were actually done having kids. My wife was on birth control and everything, and somehow our little miracle baby still came, and we got a little baby, and she is 20 months old now, and she just got diagnosed last week with autism. And so I love my kids, and Queen says, so scary, did she end up taking the pills? Yeah, she did have Tylenol in her system, but it wasn't at dangerous enough levels that they had to treat, and so she's okay. Just a reminder, everybody, if this ever happens to you, I have to put this out there. If this ever happens to you, call poison control. That's the right thing. You call poison control if you have any questions. They're not here to get you. They're not here to call CPS on you. They're there to they're pharmacists, and they know medication better than anyone. So, all right, Shay. Sorry, I will bring you in. I know you were gonna come up the other day, and I think we were having audio problems, weren't we, Shay?
Hello.
Hey, Shay. Were we having audio problems the other day? I can't remember.
No, I haven't hopped up on here before. I was just getting my son awake for the day, so I couldn't join immediately when you first requested.
Oh, got it. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. I talked to a lot of people, and I forgot. You have a 1-year-old, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be 11 months on the 13th. So he's almost a year.
Okay, while we do this, let me have everyone again put in the chat earliest signs that you noticed with your kid with autism. 1, how old were they when you started seeing signs of autism? And 2, what were some of the things that you were noticing? So Shay, tell me a little bit about what you know about autism. Have you learned much about autism before?
So I worked with like the special education kids in my high school from like my sophomore to senior year of high school. So I worked with all different kinds of levels of autism, and my grandma was a special education teacher for like 30 years. So pretty well-rounded in autism.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
And do you have any specific concerns right now with your daughter?
My son.
With your
No,
son?
well, I feel like there's only certain things, like sometimes he doesn't automatically respond to his name, and talking, it's a little, he says he loves mama, but he likes to go, I don't know if you heard it. He just always is going, and I'm like, we gotta use our words, buddy. But he's learning. I think that's one of my main concerns, is just a little bit of like the vocal stimming and like
you're being cautious, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the right thing to do, and to be looking at it, to be thinking about it. Every parent should do this, regardless of what they're seeing with their kid. Is how is my kid developing? Are there concerns with autism? There's a test called the MChat, and there's some really good questions on here. Are you okay if I ask you some questions about your child? And this will be good too. For those listening in, if you're wondering if your kid has autism, these are some of the questions on the MChat that can signal that your child is high risk for autism. So Here's one. If you point at something across the room, does your child look at it?
Oh, let's see. I would say sometimes. It's definitely not going to be every single time.
Got it. Yep. Um, does your child play pretend or make believe, like pretend to drink from an empty cup?
No.
Okay.
He does
Um,
like to drink from like my grandma's like little like metal like the little like Stanley cups you can like put your mouth on it. It's not the straw one, just the ones that you can like tip back and you can drink water. He likes to drink those.
okay. Hey, that's good. That's good. But the pretending to drink out of like an empty cup
Yeah,
or
no, no,
pretend
not
play, things like that,
pretend.
not very much. Okay. Does your child make unusual finger movements near their eyes?
Yeah, he likes to kind of with his hands, he kind of like curls them sometimes or like moves his fingers. He does like doing that a lot.
Okay. Yep. Um, let's see. Does your child point with one finger to show you something interesting?
No.
Okay, that's good. Or not good, but I mean it's good information here. Let's see. Does your child ever bring you something to show it to you? Not just for help, but he wants to show you something that he likes.
His binky. Sometimes he'll just shove it in my face.
Okay, all right, yeah. Uh, when you smile at your child, do they smile back?
If I try to make him laugh, he will. But one thing he's kind of lessened is like his eye contact. He still will make eye contact with me. It's just when he wants to.
Yeah. Yep. This is okay. So that was going to be the next question. Does your child look you in the eye when you talk, play, or dress them? And I guess it would be sometimes.
Yes.
Um, does your child try to get you to watch them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yes.
good. That is really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Um,
He'll do what he's doing right now and look at me and and say "mama" or spit raspberries like that.
yes. Yes. Okay, if something new happens, or scary or weird to your child, does he look back at you to see how you feel about it?
Yeah, he'll look at me, and a lot of the times he's really like sensitive to like if I show him like a video of him laughing or another baby crying, he gets really scared and he'll start crying really bad. I feel
Wow.
horrible. I think he's very sensitive.
Okay, this is I'm gonna be honest with you, like it's never clear one way or the other, okay? But the MChat, this is like a tool that catches about 95% of cases of autism. And I only asked a handful of questions. There's 20 of them.
Mhm.
I would encourage you to look at it and answer every single one of them. And it has you score it of low risk, medium risk, and high risk. And your kid is still young, 12 months. This is usually done at
Yeah.
18 months. And so this is just something to keep your eye on. 12 months is too early to be able to go and get a diagnosis. Typically, most places will only do it at 18 months.
18. Yeah, he has seen a neurologist before for something else, but they do bring up autism because they ask about family history, and they did say he shows some signs, but it's still so early to tell that could just be a normal adaptation for a baby his age, and it's way too early for them to even be like, yeah, let's just put a diagnosis on him.
Yes, yes. And obviously, like going through this, me or no one else on TikTok, we can't diagnose either. But it's like some of the things that you answered. I mean, it does put your kid at risk of autism, even at 12 months. And so,
Mhm.
definitely keep your eye on it. And I mean. A lot of parents, and you're not doing this. You're addressing this head on. A lot of parents kind of hide behind it, and they're like, "Oh no, he's gonna grow out of it. He's fine," and they kind of brush it
Yeah.
aside. And that just is going to harm your kid. Like if uh, if your kid has autism, that means there's support available for him. It doesn't change who your kid is, and so I appreciate you being vulnerable coming up here
Oh
because
yeah, of
I saw a lot of
course.
people in the chat who were going through these same questions, and I think it was helpful for them to hear your responses as well. So, do you have any other questions for me about autism or anything else you want to talk
Um,
about?
what was your? I guess my question for you is like, what was your first initial like feelings, or how did you react when your first child was diagnosed with autism?
That is a good question. So
And
I,
how did you go about like coping and
yeah,
coming to
yeah.
like be understanding of it?
Let me say that my first instinct was I talk about the parents who kind of hide it or like kind of push the gut feeling down. That was me.
Right.
That was me for a little bit, and it was uh, he had to have the helmet for a little bit because he had a flat head and he missed
Mhm.
all of his milestones. I mean, he was at the age of 12 months he couldn't even sit up on his own.
Oh wow.
And like he was very delayed. We had physical therapy involved from the beginning, but I was still in denial, and I it was a slow process of being okay with it, and I think the hardest moment was when when he got the diagnosis, and I read it on paper for the first time, and uh, it like hit me that like my son might need support for the rest of his life. And that's really for me when I started the grieving process. It is a grieving process. I mean,
Yeah,
you
you grieve what like, oh, it should have been this or it
should have
could
been a
have
different
been
way,
that.
and
Yeah.
I feel like I don't feel like I grieve very much now. Like it's not a sad thing to me that he has autism. I feel like we have incredible supports, and I seeing him. What has gotten me through is having him make the little bits of progress that he makes. And so it was about a month ago that he said his own name for the first time,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
I mean it was amazing, and I uh, shed tears of joy for him because of how proud I was for him. And so, like the grief is real, but also I feel like that grief sets us up to have good expectations and like really celebrate the bits of progress that we see with our
That they
kids.
Yeah, and that's how well, he's my only son, but he does have like half siblings, and his older brother is autistic, and
Hmm.
she's always talking to me about how he was nonverbal and now he's more on the high functioning like verbal side.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
That
within just a year of like I think I don't know what kind of training he's doing, but I think speech therapy
yeah.
for him and her daughter. So they both have speech therapy.
Absolutely. Look, I see it all the time. And if your kid does get a diagnosis, ignore what they say about the levels, okay? The levels don't mean anything, and a lot of parents use that as their child's identity, and it can prevent their it can prevent the way that you see your child as their ability to grow. And so if they
Right.
say that your kid is level 2, that doesn't mean your kid's always going to be level 2, and it doesn't even mean that every psychologist would have rated them level 2. There's no
Level two. Yeah.
standardized metric to give the levels. It's totally just subjective, whatever the psychologist wants to say. And so if they give you a level, just read past it. Don't let it impact you about how you're feeling, and allow yourself to grieve. I have started therapy. I go to therapy myself, and it's allowed me to process a lot. And I also, what's helped me is to have a village. I mean, coming here and sharing my experiences and having other people share theirs, it's helped me as well. So
Yeah, it's my
anyway,
first time hopping on a live on TikTok ever. So I was like,
oh
oh
my
my
gosh,
god.
thank you for coming up. I'm fairly new to it too. I mean, I'm a few weeks into being on TikTok, and it's a new experience for me every time. So I still get nervous.
Yeah, you meet really good people, and then there's always those bad bunch of people, but hey, you just ignore them.
Yes, yes. I want to end just by saying I am blown away. I'm impressed with you about how you're talking about your kid, how you're already on the lookout at 12 months. You're not hiding this. You're not running from it. Your kid has the absolute best chance of becoming the best version of themselves that they're meant to be. So I'm proud of you. Well done.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a single mother, so I do my best
It's a
every
lot.
day.
It's a lot to
Yeah.
bear on your own, and be using this time. I mean, you got a few months before you can get a diagnosis. Use this time to build your village. Make sure you got family involved, neighbors involved. Join this community. I mean, we have a Discord. We also have a Facebook page, whichever is your style, and
Oh yeah, I'll
and
join the Discord.
and we
I
go.
just gave you a follow. I came across your page
Oh,
today. I
I
was
love it.
scrolling.
Oh my goodness! Thank you for coming up, and
Yeah, of
I'm gonna
course.
go ahead and drop you. Thank you so much for being here. You're an amazing mom, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, bye. Okay, everybody. Let's see here. Did we? Okay. The name of the Facebook page. The Facebook page is in my bio. I hear people asking. Facebook page is brand new. Today is our first day of the Facebook page, Facebook group. The reason we did that is we at first a lot of people wanted Discord. I do like the Discord. We have experienced some issues with it. That Lexi, one of our moderators, has been amazing to help get us into help people get into the Discord, but TikTok and Discord links don't cooperate very well. And that's a known issue that I've been reading about. And we've had thousands of people try to click on that Discord link. And it's been a little bit of a challenge. So, but the Facebook page, the link is in my bio, Mrs. Sanchez. It's called Space to Thrive. Space to Thrive is my whole thing. I love Space to Thrive. That's the second part of my username here on TikTok. That's what we're all trying to do as autism parents, is creating space for our kids to thrive and do well. Yeah, Essie, I'm unable to join the Discord. I keep getting that. On Discord, and we have to create like custom links. The link isn't expired either, by the way. But if you, Amy is saying open the link for Discord in a browser window and it will work. All right, everybody, keep putting those questions in the chat. We're going to answer some questions here. No judgment. Remember, there's no bad questions as long as you're asking in good faith and you want to learn. This is a polite community. If you hear me talk, I can be firm on things. I go by the evidence, but I'm always polite. I'm not too mean to people. So, what's your background besides being an autism parent? Okay, so I do have 2 kids with autism. I'm also a board-certified behavior analyst. I've been working with people with autism for 13 years. I actually developed the training tool that has trained about 80% of current board-certified behavior analysts called ABA Wizard. It helps them prepare for their board exam. Don't go and get that app, you guys, unless you're a BCBA or trying to become a BCBA. After that, I am now the CEO of a company in the state of Utah that provides services to people with autism. My favorite part of my day is coming in and going live and having my village here. You guys are amazing. So thank you guys for being here. Can you explain PDA, please? Miss Demi, that's a good question. PDA. Have you guys heard of PDA? Put PDA in the chat if you think your child has a PDA profile. If you know what PDA is and you think your child has PDA profile, put PDA in the chat. So PDA is pathological demand avoidance. It is a profile of autism, and it is not recognized as a formal diagnosis in the United States. However, a lot of people here are recognizing PDA. I'm seeing this, you guys. A lot of people think that their kid has PDA. PDA is recognized in the UK. And, oh, nice. User says my son attends the University of Utah and loves it there. Amazing. Okay. I love Utah too. Utah's great. Let's see here. PDA, pathological demand avoidance, what it is typically it's your level 1, the lower support needs, and the key factor here is that people with PDA, any demand or response to authority is fight or flight. So think of this. Imagine that if you ask your kid to go clean their room and their response, their nervous system reacts the same way to that as if you had just gone and put their hand on a hot stove. That's what PDA feels like. That's what PDA is. It's a very real response to demands. it is important, guys. PDA is important to really look at. I think PDA, traditional ABA, if they're not PDA informed, can do real damage because traditional strategies like extinction would say you just got to push through it, endure the tantrum, and make them deal with it. When that's not a very neuroaffirming approach, is making people go through that pain and suffering. And there's other strategies that you can go through. And so if your kid has PDA, you can make sure that your provider is informed about it. Is PDA the new ODD? They're kind of, except PDA is just a profile under autism. ODD was not underneath autism. So there are some differences. I'm not a psychologist, and I couldn't speak on the clear differences between PDA and ODD. What does the test for autism of an adult look like? What's expected when you meet a doctor? Okay, so it's a lot of asking about your history. They do reference a lot of what happened when you were a child. And I thought most of it was a questionnaire. But I was talking to a psychologist just the other day, and they said, we analyze everything. The entire interaction is us seeing how you interact. We may start talking, and we might start playing a board game. And I want to be looking at, how do you do with taking turns? How do you do with losing? How do you do with, they're looking at everything during that interaction, that assessment. And so, Britt says, do you do any mentorship for parents wanting to become BCBAs? I don't. In Utah, we support a lot of people who are trying to become BCBAs. I will say, though, that if you ever have questions about becoming a BCBA, or if you want my advice or anything like that, just join the Discord or Facebook group and you can ask it there. It's a great place to ask those questions. My internet keeps dropping like every 5 seconds. Are people seeing that? Is my connection bad, people? Let me know. Are you guys experiencing bad internet connection of mine? Is my service bad? Let me know in the chat. Is it okay for everybody? Okay, that might be on your end. Thank you, Amy. Amy, Lexi, I'd hope, and Destiny, and all you guys, you regulars, be sure to let me know if there's issues. All right, thank you guys. All right, what other questions do we have? What other questions do we have today about autism? Let's keep this chat going, you guys. Oh, JJTT, what do you do when one parent enables bad behaviors by letting them escape or avoid tasks? Guys, this is so hard when parents aren't on the same page with parenting. That can cause some real problems. And what you'll see is your child, what's going to end up happening? If one child parents in a different way than the other, what you're going to see is the child behaves differently for one child than the other. If one parent gives in and lets child get out of something when due to whining or other simple behaviors like that, and the other doesn't, you're going to find that behavior increases with the one parent and decreases with the other. And so getting on the same page, that's why I recommend going through the parent training. Let me ask you guys this. If you do, put parent training in the chat. If you do parent training with your ABA, if you actively do parent training with your ABA, put parent training in the chat. I want to know. And I'll talk about this in just a second. Desiree says, does your son's BCBA treat you differently knowing you're a BCBA? Yeah. I have felt, and I've had a couple different BCBAs, and sometimes they can be a little bit nervous when they find out who I am and some of my background. But I go in very humbly. I mean, I go in and I act like I don't know anything because it's my kid, and I just want to know how to better support him. And so after the first parent training and things like that, they're very open and understanding. Okay, a lot of people do parent training, but let me bring something up. Something I see all the time as a practitioner is it is the mother that attends parent training and the father doesn't end up going. And I want to encourage you guys to mix that up. Mix that up. Let your spouse attend parent training. And don't just let them, but require them to do it. Tell them this is a critical part of our child's care. You are an equal partner. You are a parent just like I am, and I need you to be part of this parent training. They need to make time. I mean, it's their kid. That as a father of a child with autism, that is all that should be on the mind of the father is, how do I take care of my kid? How do I make sure that my kid is taken care of? How do I protect my kid? How do I take care of them? And I mean, you gotta make sure that they understand how important that is. If you had to, I mean, if you had to go and get emergency surgery, I bet your husband would take off work and find a way to be there for you. And so you make sure that they know it's just as important. We need to know how to take care of our kid. And so I want you to be a part of this parent training. We're going to go together once a month. We'll go together and we'll learn parent training together. And so just try to do that, you guys. It is important. Jen Small says, why does ABA have to be 40 hours a week? That's a good question. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. The reason that it can be, and you're looking at it the wrong way. I guess I should clarify. There are some providers that are very unethical and say you have to have 40 hours or else you can't receive services here. Those providers are unethical. Don't go with those providers. Don't go with those providers. The 40 hours a week, though, they have found that optimal, if you are addressing behaviors in multiple domains, okay, if you're working on communication and safety and living skills and things like that in ABA, multiple domains, the best results, the evidence points to 30 to 40 hours a week. And so if you can't do 30 to 40 hours a week, at my company, what we do is we tell families, okay, you only want 10 hours a week. That's fine. Let's do this. That's what can work for you. That's okay. However, that means progress is going to be a lot slower. That means we can only work on these 2 or 3 goals at a time. Instead of having 10 to 20 goals that we're working on across domains and fast progress, we're only going to work on a couple. And so that's where we're at. That's what I would say to that is, for me, I tell my ABA provider I want as many hours as you can make work with our schedule. Here's our schedule. If you can find RBTs that can fill any of this time, this is our availability. We want as many hours of ABA as we can possibly get. How does 40 hours of ABA work with a child that still naps? It's hard. It's hard to do. What we did with my kid is we had an RBT come while he was napping. What we did is from like 7 a.m. to noon, like she would be there when he would wake up and be there when he goes down for a nap, 5 hours. And then she would come back for a couple hours in the afternoon. And we got between 30 and 40 hours. Dinio says, what is ABA? Is it like seeing a therapist? Is this available in South Africa? So ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis therapy. It is very available in the United States, has limited availability in many other countries. So I'm not sure about South Africa. You're going to have to look at that. But it's not like going to a talk therapist. It is like going and talking to or having someone that plays with your kid and teaches them skills while they're playing. Bailey says, what do you think about others judging you for putting your child in ABA? Guys, here's the thing. If you are an autism parent, you are being judged at all times for everything you do and everything you don't do. Okay, if you're an autism parent, you get judged if you do ABA and you get judged if you don't do ABA. If you're an autism parent, you get judged if you change your kid's diet and you get judged if they don't. But you also get judged if they eat chicken nuggets for dinner and you get judged if, they don't. I mean, no matter what you do or don't do, you are going to be judged. You can never do enough. And it's exhausting. That's a main part of why I wanted to build this community. You guys, I am not paid. I keep getting asked to be sponsored by all these like supplement companies and people wanting to sell leucovorin and wanting to sell vitamins and supplements. And I keep telling everyone no. Like I don't believe in asking more and more and more of families. We got to stick to the basics, you guys. We got to stick to the basics and don't feel pressure to do everything. We got to stick to the basics. And the basics are this. When you're building your care team and treatment for your kid, you look at the 4 main therapies that insurance pays for. And that includes ABA therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and mental health therapy. You don't have to do all of those. And I'm currently working on a free tool that you can take a look at your kid's situation and help you decide which therapies are best worth your time. But you gotta look past everybody else's judgment on not doing enough or doing too much. I keep getting told that it's abusive. Yeah, it's valid that there's a lot of people that have felt abuse came from their ABA therapy. A lot of that has changed. There's a lot of really good ABA therapy out there now. You just got to look out for, are they overly focused on compliance? A good test as well is, does your kid love going there? I can't get my kid to leave ABA therapy when he goes to the clinic. I can't get him to leave. He loves it so much. Is there ABA for adults? I have a 25-year-old client who's struggling. If you live in Utah, there is. My company actually has a clinic dedicated to adults and teens with autism. And so it depends on where you're located and what's available there. There's a lot less resources for adults. But if you're in Utah, hit me up. Link is in my bio for my Utah ABA services that my company does. So there are some states that Medicaid has age limits. But in Utah, Medicaid is all ages for ABA therapy, as well as mandate that insurance covers all ages. So, not Jessica, thank you for that response. Yeah, there's good and bad ABA therapists. You got to find the good ones and speak up for your kids. I mean, here's some red flags for ABA therapy, you guys. Some red flags are if they don't allow you to observe sessions. So if you can't go in and check in on your kid during a session, that's a red flag. If they require your kid at age 2 or 3 to be sitting at a table for most of the day to work on things at the table, that's not okay. That is not developmentally appropriate. Danielle, thank you. Thank you for saying that. You see my lives before in Utah too. So stoked about what you do. Guys, I love that. Thank you. So yeah, my company's Nova Supports in Utah. That's what I'm doing when I'm not live is I'm focused on supporting people. Okay, how do you tell masked autism from trauma when they look similar? Okay, so autism, even though you can mask autism is not something that there are very specific diagnostic criteria for. It has to impact social, it has to impact communication, it has to impact repetitive behaviors. And that's part of the assessment process, is differentiating it from things that could better explain autism. They can also look at, autism is lifelong. It's not something you catch later in life. And so if you're getting diagnosed later in life, they'll actually look at what you were like when you were young. And that can be a good way to differentiate. Love my content from Singapore. Busy crying. Thank you. My goodness. My son, higher functioning, but still 70 IQ and naive. I hold him highly accountable, but should I not? C'est la vie. What a good question. It depends on what you mean by highly accountable. We should expect competence. We should expect the best from our kids. But that doesn't mean that we can't be compassionate and understanding of where they're coming from. And so expect the world from him, but be ready to support whatever needs he has. So that's a hard thing, hard balance to strike there. Melissa says, I wish we could expand to Kentucky. We need more ABA options. Oh my goodness, maybe someday. Do you find people with autism have addiction issues? You know what? I haven't seen any data supporting different levels of addiction issues with autism, but there definitely are people with autism with addiction issues. But that's an interesting question. I don't think I have data on that. How do you deal with behaviors only shown to one parent? You know what? I guess, are the parents living together? Is this a separated issue, or is this, the same household kind of issue? If it's the same household, y'all got to get on the same page. I recommend doing parent training, the ABA training with your ABA therapist. I recommend that you do those together. That's one of the best things. Taddy says together. Okay. I recommend you go and you do the parent training together so that you can both talk about what you're seeing and they can give you guidance on how to respond during that parent training. If you were to describe autism in 2 words, would it be sensory overload? Ooh, that's a really good way to describe it if you only had 2 words. I will say it is more than sensory overload. But man, what a good way to look at it. In much more than 2 words, to expand on that a little bit more. Yeah, people with autism tend to have more synaptic connections of their brain firing at once than the neurotypical people. And so what we see is as babies, neurotypical babies start pruning, and all those synaptic connections of the lights and filling your clothes and everything, those connections start disappearing in the brain. It's called pruning. And people with autism, they don't prune. Some people with autism don't prune as efficiently. And so there's more connections. And so literally their brain, the world is louder for them. They are seeing the light. They are seeing, feeling their clothes. They're hearing the fan, and they're hearing you talk, everything all at once. And so why would they pay attention to your voice when the light is just as salient in their brain? Okay, Taddy says he listens to Dad without question, but challenges me. Level 2, 5 years old. Yeah, I've seen that before. And don't let that make you feel like your spouse is the better parent. It's definitely not a competition. What that tells me is that you're parenting in different ways, and we need to line up those parenting strategies. I strongly urge against any kind of setup to where it's like, oh, you better wait till Dad gets home. Like, no, we don't. Either mom or dad can educate, can teach, can discipline a child, and you don't need to wait for Dad to come home for discipline to occur. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I have seen that before. And anytime one parent parent's different than the other parent, you're going to see this behavioral contrast where behavior happens kind of in the opposite direction. Sometimes that means you're a safe space. That if you are the one that listens to them, that I see this all the time, that like a parent that hears their child's cry and hears their child whine and complain, that's not always misbehavior. That's often communication. And you're the one listening and responding to that communication. That is a very important piece here. Taddy says, I do give more chances than Dad. Dad corrects immediately. Yeah, maybe you're a little more patient. And it can also have to do with, how much you are understanding of the kid. I mean, if they're upset and your response is to calm the nerves and regulate with the child, and husband's gut instinct is to discipline or correct the behavior, I'm not saying one or the other is wrong, but I'm saying it's a different approach. And the parenting needs to be on the same page for sure. Millie says, my 8-year-old son is super attached to me. How do I show him it's okay to be with Dad or Grandma? I'm going to challenge it. It's not about teaching him. It's about teaching Dad, and it's about teaching Grandma of how to connect with him. You've connected with your son so much, and you've been that open parent to your child, and let's teach Dad and Grandma to be that same support. Chell says, hi, my sister gets overwhelmed in busy environments, doesn't like textures of clothing or changing. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. People with autism, quite often the brain is all firing at once, and they're feeling everything at once, and it's sensory overload, like that person was saying in the chat. Absolutely, that's a lot. Ruby says, that's how my husband and I are. I'm the comfort. He's the discipline. Done right. It's a good balance. I'm not a fan of that parenting style. And the reason for that is it ends up putting all the work on the mom. going and yelling at the kid is the easy part, but being there for them, comforting them, being good parents is extremely challenging. It requires both parents to be on the same page, to know the strategy, and the way the child learns is through immediate consequences. When I say consequences, I'm not saying bad things, but consequence just means anything that happens immediately after. Okay, and so if your child says a word, that immediate consequence of getting a cookie after they say cookie, that is going to reinforce that behavior forever. And so both parents need to know how to respond in the moment. We don't learn from saying, oh, you better wait a couple hours till dad gets home, and they discipline. We both need to be able to do all the things of how do we respond when the child engages in a problem behavior? How do we respond when they engage in a good behavior? And how do we make sure that we regulate with the child? You should be able to correct misbehavior and still be calm and able to regulate the child. That's my thought. Every situation is different, though. You got to have a plan and make sure you're being consistent with your kid, and depends on your kid's needs. Martian says, does screen time make autism worse for children? What do we think here, you guys? Does screen time make autism worse? What do you think? I will tell you my thoughts on this, okay? I just made a video about a person who said that screen time causes virtual autism, and getting rid of the screens gets rid of virtual autism. And I responded pretty harshly to that video, mostly because virtual autism is not a thing. And calling something virtual autism dilutes what autism actually is. It's a disability with real support needs. But there are negative impacts from too much excessive screen time. And some of those can, impact development. But I will also say that high quality screen time of educational shows watched side by side with a parent interacting and singing along with them there's research behind that it actually supports and helps development. And screen time in moderation seems to be a really good answer. And in my house, we don't really restrict screen time. What we do, though, is we fill the time with activities to make it so screen time isn't something that's desired as much. And Tani says, I've done the research. You're absolutely right. Okay. I think I'm right on this one, that most importantly, you did not cause your child's autism through screen time. That is what I want the big takeaway here from. Screen time does not cause autism. And for anybody, whether you have autism or not, excessive screen time without social interaction with parents or peers can impact development. But you did not cause your kid's autism through screen time or through anything. Okay, let's keep looking here. Tani says, peer-reviewed journals, articles during my undergrad supports everything he is saying. Thank you. Thanks for backing me up here. C'est la vie says it's all in the genes. Yeah, autism is something, it's how your brain was developed, okay? Based on your genes. Your genes are the blueprint, and there are environmental factors during pregnancy that can increase the risk based on having the genetic blueprint already there. Let's see. Christy says, I have fallen in love with a man with Asperger's just listening to learn. Christy, that's amazing. I think the autistic brain is beautiful. It is beautiful. And the more you learn about autism, the more you learn about how beautiful it is. Some of the beautiful things that I love about my kids with autism, I love my son's desire for order and routine. I mean, it is profound. He can pick up on the slightest thing that is in disarray or not how it should be and correct it. And it's a beautiful thing to see that. The way that they see the world and want to create order in chaos is a beautiful thing. That's one thing that I really like. Vanessa says, what do you say homeschooling with ABA is more effective than public education for autistic children? Vanessa, that's a really good question. And the short answer is ABA should not be doing homeschool. Homeschool needs to be separate from ABA. And the reason I say this is school, unless the school is paying for it to do homeschool with you. But if your health insurance is paying for it, they do not want you to work on homeschooling things with your kid. And so homeschool needs to be a separate thing from the ABA, from the insurance's perspective. However, my thought on this is if your kid has high support needs, if they struggle to communicate well, if they have high safety issues, like it is a very clear answer to me that I want my kid getting ABA, the one-on-one evidence-based ABA therapy, absolutely over school. That's what I would do with my kid. However, it gets harder. Not all kids with autism should be doing that at all times. I mean, you learn things at school. There's a lot of peers. It's actually a skill to be able to follow directions and, have one teacher and be able to not require a one-on-one aid. And so you do have to have that smooth transition back to school. I would not recommend indefinitely do homeschool with ABA with your child. How do you manage regression issues? I've adopted 2 at 7 and 9, and they regress to toddler often. Wow. Okay, so that's a really good question. Something I don't talk about enough is the regression that you see sometimes later. Most of the time when we talk about autism regression, we're talking about 18 months or so, 12 to 18 months, where a child appears to be developing neurotypically, and then around 12 to 18 months, you start seeing that development reverse. We see some regression. But you can also see it later in life. Here's the thing you have to remember is development and neurodevelopment is not linear. It doesn't always go forward how you want it to be. And I just want to say, I don't have specific advice for your kid. I don't know enough about your kids that you've adopted. First of all, you're amazing for taking kids on that have challenges. But secondly, I know how hard it is to get to know your kid and then have them regress backwards and have additional challenges that they didn't have before. And it's okay to feel that and to feel a loss, and it's hard. More says, how can I prevent or reduce my son from doing hand flapping? I would say don't. Don't stop it. Don't stop them. Let them do it. It is good for them. It is good for them to do. And I know this challenges the way that you think. Actually, we this is one of the biggest criticisms I have of old school ABA is trying to fix these problems of hand flapping. When hand flapping, spinning, things like that, they're not hurting anybody. Okay? They are regulating themselves. It feels good to them. It is something that they need to do, that it helps their nervous system calm down in a noisy world. In a world where everything sounds, where they can hear everything, feel everything, and their brain is on fire, these little sensory inputs helps manage that a little bit. And if the research is clear on this, that the more you try to teach masking, the worse problem behavior can get because you're not meeting their sensory needs. So let them stim. Let them stim. Stim with him. That's what I'm going to say. Go flap your hands alongside and play with him. That's going to be my recommendations to you. C. Willis says, we let our son stim freely. It brings him joy and regulation and honestly makes my heart happy. I love seeing my kids happy. I love seeing them happy. Liz says, my brother tried to tell my daughter to calm down. I asked him to leave and to go back to his house. Liz, I thanks for standing up for your kid. I mean, that's what we do. Is if it bothers me when other people try to parent my kids. When they don't know my kids, I'm right there with them. They don't have any business telling my kids what to do. And I'm pretty vocal about that. If I'm there and someone corrects my kid, oh, you better believe I speak up. You don't tell my kid what to do when I'm here. Really bothers me. Vanessa says, stimming helps my child concentrate. Yeah, Yes, absolutely, it can. Um, Sarah says, I have an immense fear about what will happen to my son when I'm no longer here. Guys, we need to talk about this more. We need to talk about what is your plan for when you're not here anymore? What's your plan to take care of your kids? Are you prepared if you and your spouse were in a car accident tomorrow? What would happen? What would happen to your kids? What would happen to your kids? I am going to give you a couple recommendations of things to be doing. And remember, you might not be in a place where this needs to be your primary worry, okay? There's emergency systems in place. Your kids will be taken care of, but it might not be how you want it to be. But remember, there's steps to all of this. You don't jump in the moment your kid is diagnosed and worry about these things. First, you build your village. Second, you get your diagnosis. Third, you build your care team. You get your kids in your therapy. 4, you learn about autism. You learn how to advocate. And then part 5 is you figure out how to plan for your kids' future. One of the biggest things that you can do in the United States is get them on the wait list for long-term disability services. In Utah, that's called DSPD. In California, it's the regional centers. In let's see, is it Arizona that it's DDD? Every state calls it something different. The general term is home and community-based services. And you need to get your kids on the wait list. And you might be hesitant to do that because you don't want to think that your kid needs that support when they're 20. But you don't know. If your kid is 2 right now, you don't know what supports your kid needs when they're 20. And you need to prepare today, get them on the wait list because it can take decades. In Utah, it takes 10 to 20 years. I talked to a family who is still like 50th in line on the wait list, and her kid has been on the wait list for 25 years. It's largely needs based. And so just Google HCBS, Home Community Based Services, HCBS, and then your state. And it'll pull up whatever it calls it. It'll be some sort of waiver, disability something. And I don't know what it's called in every single state. You got to Google it. And this isn't for ABA. What this is long-term care. And so this is, if you pass away, who's going to take care of them? Well, this pays for respite care. This pays for group homes if they ever have to live in a group home. This pays for host home where they could go live with another family. A variation, every state kind of implements it differently, but it's the long-term care for a child or person that has disabilities. And you might think at first, I don't know if my kid will need that. Well, the wait list in most states, and 99% of the states, is so long that you got to be thinking about this now. Again, don't worry about this. If you're still trying to figure out what therapies to get your kid into, now's not the time to be worrying about these waivers. Get your kid the therapy now. Build your care team. Make sure you're learning about autism, doing all you can, and then comes the step of preparing for their future. But don't wait till they're 20 to figure this out. This whole process should be fairly quick. To build up your care team might take a few months, but then you can start worrying about these other things and getting ready to support your kid in the long term. The other thing to do is, do you guys know about ABLE accounts, stable or ABLE financial trusts for people with disabilities? Has anyone heard about these? When you worry about the future of your kid, this is one of those things that should come into your mind. So to get disability Social Security for disability, you cannot have assets over $2,000 or $3,000. I don't remember what it is, and that's hard because what you see with people with disabilities is then they can't save for emergencies. Emergencies cost more than $2,000 or $3,000, and so there's actually an account in the United States, a financial account that is a trust, and it is for any living expenses you can spend it on. You get a debit card, and you can spend any living expenses from this account for a person with disabilities. And the best feature is, one, there's tax benefits putting money into it, but then also it shelters the money, so none of that money counts towards the assets for Social Security. So the best setup is you can be saving for your kid's future in these accounts, and an autism diagnosis qualifies them to get it. You need to look up stable account and then your state, stable bank account or stable trust, and then the state that you're in. Every state manages it on a different website. And it's just a simple application. It's a one-day process, and you can be putting money in, and it shelters it from their Social Security needs, and you're able to save and build things up. So these are the things that we got to be thinking of, you guys, is how do we plan for the future for our kids? And there's a time and a place to worry about it, and you might not be at that time. And so I don't want to bring this up to stress you out. If you're not at the stage, if you're at the stage of, hey, I'm a single mom, and I don't know what I'm going to do if I have to go and go to the emergency room. Like, I don't have anyone to watch my kid. You're not at the stage of worrying about these things. You need to build your village. Jesse says, bro, you're freaking me out. Jesse, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to do. That's the opposite. No, don't be freaked out. What I'm trying to do is build an order to things. You don't need to worry about everything at once. Okay. Some people are at the point in this autism journey of being able to worry about their kid's future. And some of us are just trying to survive tomorrow. And so please know where you stand right now. And if your point that you're at is just building your village, build your village. Okay. Ashley says in California, it's Cal Able. Thank you for bringing that up. Balloon says, can I get paid to take care of my kid if I'm illegal, but my son is a U.S. citizen? Balloon, that's it depends on what state you're in. I don't believe so. Most states don't even have programs to pay you to take care of your own kid, unfortunately. And I think that's a shame. I mean, I wish the answer was yes. I wish you could. I really do wish that you could. All right, everybody. Let me bring some people in. Let's see. Lexi, Amy, do you guys want to come in? Do you guys want to come hang out? Anyone else that is a regular that wants to just come up and visit? The last 15 minutes or so is usually just coming and hanging out. And if you're a regular on here, let me know. And if you want to come up and chat with us, it's just kind of a good time to check in on how people are. Let's see here. I can bring some more people up. We can just have a good discussion, you guys. If you're in the guest box, I'll accept the first few people that are in here, and we'll have a good conversation and just check in on how people are doing. How's everyone doing today? What's up, you guys?
I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
I am an autistic adult, and so basically, my mom has been fighting for me to get services through regional center, but they denied me because they say that my autism is not a disability, it's more a trauma. So how could my mom fight that?
It's a good question. Are you in California then?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have a diagnosis of autism?
Yes.
Who is saying that it's trauma and not autism? Like, who is
regional center?
How can they say that if there's a paper that says it's autism? I mean, I don't understand how they're able. You need to appeal that. Have you appealed it yet?
Because yes, we tried appealing it with a lawyer and in person, and they still keep denying me. And then also, they're the ones that diagnosed me with autism.
Oh, they're the ones that did the autism diagnosis. I wonder, and I don't know if this would work, but the thing that would cross my mind is to get an autism diagnosis elsewhere, an independent autism diagnosis that wasn't from them.
I did.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. I wish I had better info for you. Like I am just as frustrated as you. That's ridiculous. How dare they question and feel like they can change the diagnosis and say this isn't autism, this is trauma. I don't understand why they can do that.
Me neither. And we also tried fighting because of that. I can't get my SSI benefits because they also say that my autism is by trauma, not by real disability. So it's not a real disability.
It's so frustrating because like trauma and autism are different. And now, if your diagnosis says trauma but autism symptoms, I could see their justification. But if your diagnosis says F84.0 autism spectrum disorder, I mean that's autism. It's something you're born with. It's a neurodevelopmental difference. It is a disability and can absolutely not be just said it was brought on by trauma and doesn't count. And so you know what I would be doing, honestly? If you've done all this, you've already done an appeal, the next thing that you can do is be talking to your legislators. You can be
Okay.
you can be writing letters to your representatives. And they do listen, okay? They do listen. They respond, especially if they're not currently in session or busy. They hear you out. And you explain your situation. You say, I have an autism diagnosis. The regional center, this is how they're treating me. And you break it down, and they have a lot of sway. That's my recommendation for your next step.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being up here. All right, we'll talk to you later. Well, Miss Wendy and Lexi, how are you guys doing today? Anything new
Good
with you
morning.
guys?
I actually have a few questions for you.
Yeah, what's up?
I have a 3-year-old who was diagnosed with level 2.
Okay.
He's very high functioning, and at the time when he was evaluated, he wasn't as verbal, and in the span of 2 months, he's gotten very verbal, and he's done a lot of progress. So at this point, I'm getting ready for an IPA. No, the IEP. Sorry.
IEP. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, what should I be asking the district for help with?
Yeah. Very, very good question. Let me first say, congratulations on your son progressing and growing and developing. And this is just another example of why I hate the levels. Like, the levels are a snapshot in time. They're biased. It's not based on any standard metric across the board. And just because they're level 2 doesn't mean they're never going to be able to communicate. And so I am so excited for you. My son's kind of in the same category. His language the past few months has been exploding, and I'm so grateful. It's very challenging for him still, but to answer your question, what should you be asking for the school? Well, it depends. Have they done the testing yet?
The school has not.
Okay.
Only regional. We had the first initial meeting with them, but we're still pending for their evaluation through the school.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just tell you this. The steps here. The school needs to do an evaluation and just prepare yourself, because at least how it was for me is my son. The schools focus on compliance, not competence. To give you an example, my son was asked to point at the elephant and was brought into this room without any toys. And, they were just giving him instruction after instruction. My son saw the room next door full of toys, and he was having a tantrum the entire session, the entire test. And the teacher told me, I hate to break it to you, but your son is in the bottom first percentile of all the kids that we test. He doesn't understand anything that we're saying. He needs the highest level of support. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And we went home, and he opened a book, and he could point to all the animals. He knew the animal names on his terms. We just couldn't ask him. And so they were testing compliance. They weren't testing competence. You see that a lot. And so, but you have to remember that the goal of that testing isn't to prove how smart your son is. The purpose of that testing is to determine where he needs the most support. And if they identify those, don't be afraid of that data, and they'll be able to work with you on creating the best setup for your kid. What I would fight for, if your kid is still young and trying to acquire language, I would only put them in school if they're going to get one-on-one aid from someone who is trained to work with kids with autism, specifically in applied behavior analysis. And if they are not, then you keep them home and you do full-time ABA. That's my recommendation. That's what I do with my own kid. If it was my own kid, that's the recommendation, is you need If they're 3 years old and they're looking at starting school and they want you to go to their preschool, and it's, a class with 5 kids per adult, your kid's not going to learn and develop what he needs to learn there. He'd be much better off with one-on-one ABA. At least that's how I see it with my kids. So anyway, that's,
I would second that
yeah.
because here's the thing, when they're that little, they do need the extra help. And if you get them into a preschool, I was a preschool teacher, so I know. If you get them into a preschool, usually it's a preschool teacher and like an assistant or an aide or two. And there's like 20 something kids or 17 kids, just depending on the actual school itself. And your child will not grow and develop. My child was in preschool for 2 years. Speech therapy was the only help that he got. So he did acquire speech a little bit more. But if I would have known back then when he was 3 years old that he had autism, I would have definitely done ABA full time because that is somebody who is there with you 24/7, or not 24/7, sorry, 8 hours a day. But that is someone who is there directly with your child, redirecting your child and helping with coping skills and things like that. And they also do speech at some ABA centers will allow outside speech or they'll have in-house speech. So you still get the same services even though you're taking him to ABA. And in some states, for example, Arizona, up until they're 9 years old, if they attend ABA full time, ABA counts as school up until the age of 9, because that's when they start like state testing. So I would definitely take advantage of it if you have the diagnosis and you can do ABA full time. Definitely, I would second Kylan's information and do ABA full time for your child. They're going to benefit a lot more from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Thank you so much for coming up and asking that. That's a really good question, and I really wish you the best as you move forward with that testing. Lexi, tell me, how's everything going with you? How have you been doing?
Oh my goodness. I am so ecstatic.
What?
I am happy.
What?
Okay, so I have to tell you this. A lot of people who are regulars on here would know, but the people who are not regulars on here, I've had an issue with my son's public school not allowing him a one-on-one because they say that there's no funding available for it. So they would not allow him a one-on-one. He's been there since pre-K, so he's been there for 3 years now. He's in first grade. I had a horrible parent-teacher conference last week on Thursday. I cried myself to sleep that day because the teacher said he's level 1. He should be at least at a level 15, 16 in their curriculum, whatever the school curriculum is. By the end of the year, he should be level 19. And he's level 1. And he's not learning, and we can't get him to do the work, and blah, 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 blah. All the things that they tell you in these meetings that are very detrimental to parents. I don't think that the teachers really understand what we're going through. Come to find out, the teacher doesn't even know anything about autism. So she's treating him basically the same as all the other children. She has 24 students in her classroom, and it's just herself and sometimes an aide. I told her about, my concerns and that I asked for a one-on-one, and she was like, I don't know anything about that. So she doesn't even know anything about the special education. So as of like 2 weeks ago, I've been trying to research for schools that offer like services for children who are on the spectrum. I've actually been researching this since the beginning of the school year, but haven't found anything that would meet his needs because he is high functioning. He's technically what everybody would consider a level 1. I don't know. I never got a level, but he is high functioning. Well, yesterday I got a call back from a school that we had toured and that he went for a one-day visit and absolutely loved. And they approved him, so he starts on Monday.
Oh my gosh. Yay. Are you kidding me?
I'm so excited. I
this
like
was the school
screamed.
that he toured it, and then you toured it with him, and then didn't he like cry when he had to go back to his regular school after that, and he was asking to go back to that one?
Yeah, last week on Monday, he had what they call a full day. So basically, you just leave them there for the day, and the teacher assesses them and assesses their needs and sees if the school is a proper fit for your child. He absolutely loved what he calls the purple school because he doesn't know the name of the school or anything like that. But he was like, I want to go back to the purple school. And then Tuesday, we had a really rough, like, meltdown morning because he did not want to go back to his old school. So yeah, it's that school. It's
Oh my
that school.
gosh. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
starting so soon. I mean, that is a big deal. What a big deal. Congrats. And guys, this is just a reminder that you need to fight for your kids. You got to get them the best care team. That includes school as well. Get them the best setup possible. You be annoying, you be loud, and you get your kids the absolute best care. Congratulations, Lexi. This is totally due to you being an amazing parent, researching what you need to, and getting your kid the support that they need. Very well done, everybody. We are coming to the end of today's stream. It was a little bit earlier today, so I've already been live for the 2 hours. But I do want to say that today was day one of having a Facebook group for this very group of people here, and we already have 25 people in the group. And so if you are here and you need a village, we have a Discord, link is in my bio, and a Facebook group, link is in my bio. Join either one. On Facebook, they make it easy to invite other people as well. If you have other people that are parents of autistic kids, bring them in, send them an invite. This group is going to stand out because I'm not going to tolerate any promotions of marketing. No ABA companies are going to be coming in and flooding the comment sections, trying to get your kid to go with them. No one's going to be trying to sell their books to you. I mean, this is simply a safe space for us autism parents to have a village. The Discord is the same thing. And so Discord or Facebook group, go ahead, hop on there, introduce yourself, and let's keep building this village, you guys. I need this. You guys need this. I need this. We all need this. Thank you for being part of our village. Also, go ahead, Lexi.
Sorry, I just want to let everybody know there are questions on the Facebook before you join for the request. If you don't answer the questions, we're going to be denying the request just because it's important for us to know that you're there for the right reason. So if you can please, so your request does not get denied, because I did have to deny like 4 people today.
Yeah.
Because the questions weren't answered. Please answer the questions. It takes like a minute. It's not that long. It's really fast.
Yeah.
Thank
the link
you.
is in my bio if people are wondering. It's called Space to Thrive, Autism Parent Support Group. But it is, join the group, guys. It's going to be a fun community. And excited to continue off of the live. But the Discord is also there. If you hate Facebook, the Discord's amazing. There's a lot of people on there already as well. And they're both pretty active groups now. So we stream on YouTube at the same time as streaming here. What that means is it saves these streams. And if you miss a day of our lives and you want to listen for a couple hours while you're working out or whatever, you can go back and listen on YouTube. And so go ahead, and the link to my YouTube is in my bio as well. You can go follow over there. We're Autism Village, you guys. This is what we do. Thank you guys for being here, and I appreciate everybody's support. So have a good one, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.